Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Invin and today what I'm going to be bringing you guys is a video on 10 things that every New World player must do and needs to know in this game to be successful or just to enjoy the game, and things that you might not have already known. Now, there's going to be several tips in here that are going to be available to every single player at every level. I've tried to make most of them that, but some of them just revolve around leveling up skills, which is available to every player, but you won't necessarily have those skills leveled up yet. So without further ado, the first thing that we're going to look at here today is actually going to be housing trophies. Now, these are a big thing in New World. A lot of people are not even understanding what they are or what they do. So essentially, in your house, this is my house here in Everfall, trophies look like this on the wall right here. You can see that is the luck trophy. I've then got the harvesting one, the woodcutting one there, the skinning one there, and then above the door over here, I've got the mining one. And essentially, if I press B, it will tell you guys basically underneath where my camera is what these trophies are now. So the luck trophy is one of the best and most essential trophies in the game, and this gives you a small bonus to luck when picking up and opening chests. And obviously this is the minor one. You've then got the major one or the standard one, then the tier 5 one, which is a legendary, which can only be crafted, and you will only see the recipe for both the tier 3, the tier 4, and of course the legendary tier 5 when you actually have the materials in your inventory. Otherwise you won't see the required recipe in the list, regardless of your skill level in furnishing. So obviously this does require a level in order to craft it yourself, but you are also able to buy these off the marketplace, and as more and more people level up their furnishing skill, these are going to become more readily available. So that's definitely something you're going to want to invest in. I then personally like to go for the mining trophy, which gives a small bonus when using the mining pick in the wilderness. Essentially, you get those rarer resources, so like your fey iron, things like that, but also gems with mining as well, which is nice. You've then got the trophy for skinning again, so things like the rabbit's foot, which is needed for the first tier of the luck trophy there. More of a chance to get drops like that and other rare drops from skinning. Same again with the harvesting, and same again with the miner logging trophy again. So all of these things. Now, if you guys didn't know, there is a bug at the moment which is causing these rare materials to drop less frequently than they are supposed to. This has been addressed on the forums, so hopefully in the next couple of days this is going to be, coming back to normal, coming back to where we should be actually seeing this, and actually seeing those drops that we should be seeing generally, from mining, gathering, whatever it might be, actually come into play a lot more often. So it might be that after the next update, after the next server maintenance sort of thing, you see a big increase to those rare drops, even without trophies. But with trophies, it's going to be massively beneficial. And obviously, these things are a global buff as well. And that means that you can have them in each of your houses. You can have up to 3 houses by level 60. Even purchasing a level 1 house will allow you to have access to all 5 trophies. This right here is a tier 4, the highest tier house you can get in the game. But even with a tier 1 one, like I've got in Morningdale, I have 5 trophies there as well. And this gives me the bonus from this house, the bonus from that house. And then when I fill my 3rd house up with them as well, 3 times the bonus, regardless of what level they are. And obviously, eventually when you get all to those tier 4 and 5s, it's going to be a huge bonus, particularly the luck one for any of you guys that are on that max level trying to get that gear score up. It's going to help you to get better drops, and obviously the recipes, things like that are rarer to get, you're going to get more of those with the luck trophy as well. Now, talking about trophies leads me nicely onto the next point, which is simply to own houses. There is a lot of benefits to owning houses, as you can see as I walk around mine here. You can decorate them, you can put trophies in, obviously like I mentioned in the first point there, but there is obviously some decoration score you can get, and if your score is the top on the server for that particular house, when you go outside, if you press T, you'll be able to see the menu for houses, as you can see right here. Mine is currently the top one here, so currently displayed to the public with 33,850 points, so it's pretty good. So everyone that walks past will be basically able to see mine from the outside, which I don't have much on the outside. Maybe I should put some decorations out here, but people will be able to see those. And obviously you can go and visit anybody's house on that list that owns it, that's in the top 20. Obviously there's only 6 people that own this one currently, but when this fills up, top 20 houses, you can go and click enter and visit theirs. So there is a decoration score, but there is also a more practical use to houses as well. Now, the more practical use is that you can actually fast travel to these houses like an inn recall. So, for example, my inn is in Brightwood. Obviously, I can recall to that from anywhere. But I also have a house, like I said, in Everfall, where I currently am, and also one in Morningdale. Now, the tier of house you have depends on the amount of fast travel cooldown that these have. So the highest tier 1 just have a 2-hour. Tier 3s, which are the 15,000 gold one, takes a 2.5 hours to cool down. The 2nd tier house, so the 10,000 house, is a 3-hour cooldown on the fast travel. And the 4th tier, the very cheapest house, is a 4-hour cooldown on the fast travel. Now, even with that being said, what you guys will be able to see on screen here is actually that you can pay to recall to house. So obviously this is on cooldown in Morningdale, but it would cost me 128 Azoth to fast travel there, or I could pay to reset this cooldown and fast travel there with as much weight as I want from anywhere in the world. So it doesn't have to even be within a settlement, it can be from anywhere, and you can fast travel to that for 22 Azoth. Now this is based on the percentage of the timer that has gone. Even when you have those tier 1 houses, the cheapest houses just for trophies, like I do have in Morningdale, like I said, it's a 4-hour cooldown, but because over half of that has gone, it's 22 Azoth. Whereas if you look at something like Everfall, where it's only 2 hours to start with, because only 10 minutes has gone, it still costs 45, so it's going to be more expensive. Now obviously I'm in Everfall right now, but if I was elsewhere, you know, the challenge between those two would be where I needed to go. But obviously it is still worth getting those tier 1 houses just to stack up with trophies until you can afford to get tier 4s and pay the rent and stuff everywhere, because you can set the fast travel very, very easily, which is very, very nice. Now, another quick tip as well. This doesn't affect housing fast travel, but if you are going to be fast traveling around just in general, as a quick side tip here, what you're going to want to be doing is making sure that you reduce your weight. Now, this is not armor weight. Armor weight does not affect fast travel whatsoever, but your inventory weight does. So around about at 20, you can see that it's going to cost me, let's go to somewhere that's not a faction base, 58. But if I then go and fill up in my inventory, put a load of stuff in, so let me grab a load of like wood or something real quickly, and let's just grab all of these weapons quick, and then if we go down here, and instead of that, it is now 90 Azoth. So just putting in, and that's only 90 kilograms, from 90 all the way down to 54. So it makes a huge difference, your weight capacity that you have in the game, what weight you have on you, and the fast travel increase that it gives. So make sure to reduce your weight as much as possible before you fast travel. Now the next tip here is going to be on top of your storage, and this is going to be very simple, but a lot of people might not know it. Simply typing in something which you want to find. So maybe it's that you're really wanting amber gems, so you can type in amber, and it would come up with that I've got one here in Everfall, but then if I, you know, select a different place, so Morningdale, it looks like I've got an amber gem there. I can choose Rest Ashore, I've got none in there, and it says they're hidden by filter when you don't have them. Cleaves Point, I've got a tier 4, and it's a really quick way you can flick through, particularly with these outpost places where you're more likely to have some of these gems hidden from doing those late level expeditions and elite zones when you do get there. But even just going around these starter areas, you might have some as well, but it's just a very quick way you can transfer around, and obviously it tells you the current location, and this can be done for any item in the game, which is really, really useful. Now, following on from that, another thing you can do is just change the location right here, so we can say Morningdale. Because that's owned by my faction, Covenant, I can bring any items from there into my current bank. So maybe I want this fire staff for a quest, I could do that, and it would cost me 217 gold. So it is expensive, and it's much, much, much better to go over there, fast travel over if you've got the Azoth to do that, and then recall to your house, as it is not going to cost you any money to transfer those items. Then you can go right up to just literally £0.5 off being full, and you'll still be able to travel. So it's much, much better. But obviously if you want to save time and stuff, you can just transfer items, and obviously a staff costs quite a lot. But if I just maybe wanted to grab, let's say, this malachite gem, I could just drag that over, and that would only cost me 62 cents to the dollar. So I can go ahead and drag that in and have that in my inventory there in Everfall. And the next one's going to be a little bit more general, but again, it's going to apply to every single player in the game, and this is to actually level up a crafting skill. Now, my camera's blocking fishing, probably for the best. That one's a very low level, but what you guys should be doing is these top ones here, leveling up at least one of these skills. You can see on mine I've leveled up quite a few, including furnishing, which is my new kind of like favorite thing. I'm really pushing going for furnishing. I do enjoy it, and it is very good for money making, so certainly worth looking into if you're trying to make some money. But it does cost a lot, and it's a very, very heavy one to get involved in. You've got to put a lot of resources into it, but some of them, like cooking, are very self-explanatory. You literally cook food and it gets you leveled up, and with that you're then able to sustain yourself with tier 4 and 5 meals for pretty much any content in the game once you do get up there, and it's very, very good. So certainly work on a crafting skill, certainly try to level up your crafting so that you are able to sustain stuff, and that is going to be how you can make money as well. Because if we go into the auction house here, so as you guys can see on me right now, I've got 85 hearty meals. If I go into the auction house and have a look at the price of them, hearty meals currently are selling for $2.95 each, and when you get up to the point where you can spam craft these, obviously you are then going to be able to make a good bit of profit. 100 times that, you're going to be making 295 off 100 of these, and when you're gathering the ingredients as you're going through your runs anyway, this is going to be something where you can just make a bit of passive income just by simply leveling a skill that you're already needing to use. Same with Arcana. If we look at infused health pots, these are currently at $2.90 here in Everfall, but you can see once those ones are gone, you can make 20 29.99, so 30. And in some of the other places right here, you're going to see these be a lot higher value as a base price. So let's look at somewhere like, so Weaver's Fen, your cheapest one is 310. If we keep going across this list here, you'll see maybe Cutlass Keys there, looking at 5 as the cheapest. First Light, 12 as the cheapest. And as you keep going along, Mountain Home, 25 as the cheapest. Eastburn, 25 as the cheapest. Monarch's Bluff, 25 as the cheapest. So there's going to be a lot of ones there where you can make a significant amount of profit. And obviously, these are the tier 5 potions, but you can do this again with lower level ones, just in slightly less margins of profit. But it's stuff that you're going to be leveling up anyway, because you need to craft potions, you need to craft food. So you may as well get them leveled up and start making some money off them when you do get up to those higher levels as well. Tip number 5 here is going to be learning your server's market. Now, this one sounds fairly self-explanatory, but it is going to be very, very vitally important if it's something that you spend a lot of time doing, maybe selling, or it's something you don't spend a lot of time doing, but you should be, because, again, like some of those things I mentioned there, they sell for quite a lot. Now, obviously, Dragon Glory is something which you need for the actual main quest, the Dragon Glory Flower. For those of you that haven't been up there yet, you do need this for the main quest. And as you can see, the cheapest one here in Everfall is 218 gold. So if you do get those when you are at Gathering and you've already done the main quest, it's an easy way to make a nice cheeky bit of money from that. So knowing things like that is really going to help. But even just things like when's good for green wood, because although, you know, this is the base resource, this is kind of one of the best sellers, at least on my server. And right now is a really good time to buy it because it's selling for 0.11 per. Usually, in Everfall at least, we're up to the 0.2 mark at the very minimum. So buying a lot of this now could serve me well. And I know that because playing at different times, as I say, it's up to nearly double that. So you've got to counter in tax as well, but that could be a good thing to buy. But also if we do look at the all settlements tab as well, you guys will see that in other places, so let's look at, so Windswood, for example, where they've got very low tax, 0.13. So again, buying some of this earlier here. Later in the day, this generally goes up to 2 as well, and I'd be getting a lot less tax on this one. Restless Shore, 0.15. And if we keep going up into somewhere like Brightwood, 0.16. So I could even buy it in Windswood and sell it in Brightwood and still make a profit here. Just 0.02 gold per one, but when they are in such big quantities like 3,000, you're going to be making quite a lot of profit off that. So it's just knowing the server's market and finding items that you can either flip or resell at a different time for a much bigger profit. And that's something which you will only learn by playing and going along with your server, but it's a very, very good way to make some cash. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about here is utilizing your map correctly. Now, this one is a big thing people don't do. First of all, you've got filters on the side, so if you're getting fed up with these faction bars, you can see just underneath, you go on this and you click faction influence and it's gone. You can also do this with many other things on the map, so you can turn off outposts, as you guys will see there. That will turn off the outpost buildings. You can turn off landmarks, so it gets rid of all of the markers there if you do want to do that for whatever reason. Yourself, you can turn off the big pings, or you can turn off the respawn point as well. As well as this, you've got territory standing. You can look at all your territory standings there, fairly self-explanatory, but if you click into it, it will actually tell you which bonuses you have available, and you can see how much percentage you have in each of those as well. If you then also look into resource locations, obviously I'm aware a lot of people do use other maps that are external to the game, but if you want to just have something handy inside, it will tell you which biome each of the materials can be found in. It gives you a general understanding like precious metal and iron, but this is the same for things like star metal, platinum, etc. as you go up. And then you've also got things like objectives, which can look at all the objectives that have availability on the map for you right now, which is really, really good, particularly when you get to end game. You can see here 2 level 60 quests that I could pick up, another 60 quest here. So there's all sorts of things, level 62, 62, and I could pick those up if I'm looking for some end game quests to do. With the objectives tabs as well, you can set the distance by closest, easiest first, A to Z, or type of mission, so you can pick out the ones that you really want to do. And this is really, really good whilst leveling if you're looking for quests to do in the area or that are respective to your level. And then of course you can look at upcoming wars and invasions. As soon as you hit level 50, you should be trying to get into all of these invasions, because of 1, it's a ton of fun, and 2, it's a good chunk of XP, Azoth and gold just for taking part. So certainly try and get involved in these if you can. And of course, if you have your company wars or faction wars, try and sign up, support each other if you want to, and that's the kind of thing you're into. It's a very, very fun environment, so try and get involved in those ones as well. The next thing here is actually going to be to utilize your settings. Now, there's going to be a lot of things that are obviously preferences is another thing, so like language filter, subtitles, etc, etc. But one of the main things here is going to be in your gameplay settings. Now, these are going to be really, really important. Some people have not even looked at these. They've self-admitted to me in my company they haven't even looked at the settings tab, which is really, really important. So here's what I'm going to suggest to all of you guys. Go through this and have a look at what you would actually like to have on and off, because some people have some great filters on or some great things added onto the game which is simply in the settings. So for example here, floating damage numbers. That's on by default, but if you want that off, you can get rid of it. I personally really like it. Things like auto traverse, so when you're auto running, if it'll jump over things or not, I really found that annoying, so got rid of it. You can turn it off or you can turn it on. Targeted healing, if you can turn that on or off, personally I prefer it off, but you can have it on if you want to have a little bit easier to get the targeted heals on your team. You have also got other things here like sticky lock, manual target lock, group mode. Then you've got auto pin main story quests, auto pin side quests, mission quests, town balls, and recipes. So you can see all of those different things in the gameplay section here. And there is also other things that you can add on to it should you want to. Show extra ability cooldowns. This is where it adds another HUD element near the center of the screen showing the ability cooldowns. I really like that one, so I like it on. Always show weapons is another really good one because it shows both weapons. You can easily see which one you've got equipped at any one time. I really like that one. A really big thing on the visuals tab is going to be your FOV. Some people, again, have self-admitted they haven't even touched the FOV slider. So certainly have a look at FOV. It's going to be very important. Again, video quality, NVIDIA has kind of done mine for me. But bear in mind, whatever you want to do here, kind of fix that, sort it out. If you want to put them all down to maybe low settings, you can go ahead and do that. As you can see, the game does lag a little bit when you do change all of the settings all at once, but it is something that you can do, and you can change those settings up and down if your computer's heating up a little bit, or you want to change them for the wars. It's entirely up to you. And then, of course, I would certainly recommend setting a frame cap. You don't really need above 60 in this game, so I tap mine to 60, and that works absolutely fine. Nameplate amount as well, really important for wars. Cap FPS when in background, always recommend that should be on. And there's some other stuff as well. You can have things like communication, so you've got your voice chat, etc., all of that kind of stuff there. Down the bottom here, some really important stuff. Enable chat alerts, which is something you can have. You can show chat message time, so you can see the time that the message was sent as well, and obviously color coding those ones for different chats as well. So you can hide social notification banners as well, particularly if you are a content creator and people keep spamming invites or sending coins or whatever, then you can hide these while you're doing content. You have accessibility stuff here as well, so you can change the text size, you can change the text to speech if you want that on, or you can put color blindness filters on, and you can also change some other things here in the game. You can see kind of like the legal side of stuff as well if you want to. Another really quick important tip here is going to be to level up your gathering skills. Again, fishing is covered up with good reason by my camera here as well, because I've, pretty much neglected fishing. I've only got 11 levels in that one, but as you guys can see on the rest of them, we've got 200 tracking and skinning, 135 harvesting, 118 logging, and 143 mining. And this is without even pushing too much, but what I would certainly recommend is doing this as you're going through the game, particularly before you progress into the next tier or next level of zone. Otherwise you won't be able to skin things, you won't be able to harvest things, you won't be able to cut down trees, and you won't be able to mine most of the relevant resources. Now, something I've really missed out on so far is not getting myself up to 175 to get that orichalcum ability to mine, because when I'm doing these level 60 elite plus zones that are like level 65 plus, level 66 plus, there's a lot of orichalcum there, and it's one of the only places where you can really farm this to get a lot of it, and I'm missing out on not getting that every time I go by not getting my mining up. So that's something I personally need to do as well. I need to take my own advice here and get this done. So after this video I am going to work on that, but you guys should do the same. Make sure before you go to a next tier zone, particularly if you're around that level sort of 25 to 30 zone, before you go into like Weaver's Fen, Brightwood, that sort of area, you need to get star metal unlocked, so that's going to be really helpful. There's a lot of it about. Same with harvesting, you kind of want to get up to silkweed before you go into those areas so you can actually start unlocking those ones. And again with logging, try and get up to weirdwood as soon as you get to around those levels as well, because that does mean you're going to be able to get availability to mine and access that, which is going to be really helpful. Another tip here is going to be to find valuable items that are very easy to get, and one really good example of this is broccoli. It's a tier 4 food, and it's selling in Everfall, which is one of our most booming markets, for 148, 149, 150, etc. So quite a lot per broccoli, and I'll show you a quick tip. This is kind of like my cheeky spots. If you're on my server, don't be stealing my broccoli, but this is a very good spot as a very good example of what I'm trying to explain here, of simple things you can find just tuning in. Every time you come back to Everfall, or every 5 minutes when you're in the city, just simply head out here straight through the northern gate, head over slightly to the left on these farms, and you will see that often a lot of people kind of just leave it here, and you're able to grab some broccoli from this one, There is sometimes a third one here, depends if it's on respawn or not, and this field also does spawn. It looks like somebody's grabbed these right now, but right there we've just picked up 8, so that's just literally 10, 12 gold made in about 2 seconds of running out just while I'm chatting to you guys about what the tip I'm trying to do is. Run back in, do some more stuff, come back out in a minute, and it respawns very, very quickly, so make sure you're just grabbing that whilst you're there, and it's stuff like that that's going to be really, really good. Again, flint is a very, very good moneymaker. People are exponentially lazy on this game for some unknown reason, and will buy flint for almost half a gold each, which is ridiculous. You can go to these spawn beaches, you can go to places like Weaver's Fen where the boulders are actually out of flint, and you can just mine a load of these, get a load of flint, and sell it for very easy money per day if you've just got a spare 15 minutes. Maybe while you're even watching this video, you could be doing New World playing as well. Mining flint is very easy to do, and so therefore that's a very good way to make money. Anything that sells well on your particular server that's very easy to get, you always want to make sure you're on top of that. Generally, people pay a lot for moats as well, and moats is another really easy one. Again, I'm giving you guys a really good spot here, but just generally around this area in Monarch's Bluff, so the settlement is up here. If you kind of go down and to the right here, you're kind of in this area where the castle and the water is. This whole area all down here has got a ton of moats in, so if you actually patrol around this area, you'll be able to get a lot, and people buy these for a lot because they're ending up trying to cut those gems, build the life essences, quintessences, etc, etc. Same with fire, earth, death, whatever else moats there is. People will buy them very, very, even when they're quite expensive, because they need a lot of them for doing that, and they think that jewel crafting is going to make them a lot of money, which it does, but they have to then buy the moats because they can't be bothered to collect them. So that's where you can then benefit off people making even more money than yourselves, because they won't be affected by buying that. Particularly early game, that's a really, really good strat to get yourself some good cash. And finally here, just to round out today's video, we're going to talk about attribute perks. Now these are going to be something which is very important, and a lot of people sleep on them. So as you guys will see, when you hover over every 50 levels or every 50 points, you get into an attribute. So for example, 50 strength here, you will see that they have a damage effect, so plus 5 damage to melee weapon light attacks, but they also have a plus 10% mining speed, and this is on every node for every 50 points. So the second one there is plus 20 encumbrance, third one is minus 10% decrease in weight of mined items, the fourth one is plus 10% mining speed, fifth one here at 250 is plus 10% yield when mining, and ultimately when you get to 300 there, you will have plus 25% chance to mine an ore with a single swing, which is exceptionally good, very, very helpful, and will get you a ton of mining XP very, very quickly. Now there's ways to go about this as well. Obviously, make the most of whichever your main stat is, and then you can switch it up when you do try and power level things further on. Again, if you're going to do wood cutting, it's very, very long, so leveling up this constitution for exactly the same perk as it is in the mining, 25% chance to chop down a tree in a single hit. It's going to be very, very good for getting that quick XP, and the best way to do this is just find gear that has pure stat on for strength. Obviously, I'm using a lot of the faction gear right now, so I've got a lot of constitution, but you can even go into the auction house and find these items that have a lot of strength on. So you can even go into the auction house and you'll see here, like lumberjack gloves, for example, will just give pure constitution, because obviously that is the stat that goes into the attribute perks from the attributes there, and you'll see that they give you reinforced login luck. This goes the same for things like miner gloves. You can go on here, you can see there's going to be mining gloves, and these give pure strength, again for exactly the same reason as I said before, and this goes for any type of thing. So you can get these either by going for regular items, or like these are 100 gold each, very easy to get your hands on, and can make you a lot of profit very, very quickly, as well as exponentially increasing your XP rates, which is fantastic stuff to get involved in. So hopefully this video has helped all of you guys out. There should be something in here for everybody. There's a lot of like useful tips and tricks which most people are kind of either not doing because they're a bit lazy to do them and should be doing them, or didn't even know about them. So hopefully this kind of helps you out with getting some of those levels done a little bit quicker, getting some, you know, XP up, some gathering up, whatever it is that you're working on right now. And all of these tips can be accessed by anyone at any level, but as I said, some of them there are kind of better the further up in the skills respectively that you do get. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed today's video. If you have, be sure to leave a like on it down below, as it really does help myself and the channel out. If you are new here to the channel and you'd like to see more New World content, then please do make sure to subscribe down below with the notification bell on. I upload every single day, so I'll have tons more informative, helpful New World content, as well as guides, loads of other good New World content as well, so make sure you don't miss out on any of that. If you'd like to join my Discord server, we've got over 1,000 people in there chatting all things New World. Great community we've got, so if you'd like to join it, we'd love to have you over there. The link for that will be in the description as always. If you'd like to follow me over on Twitter and Twitch to stay up to date with live stuff, and of course any thoughts about the games I have on Twitter, then go and follow those. Both of those will be linked in the description and in the comments as well. And other than that, guys, as always, if you'd like to support me directly as a content creator here on YouTube, the join button is available just below today's video. Other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching. Take care and peace.